Here's an AFN News update for you. I'm Bronson Woodruff. Happy Monday. Hezbollah launched more than 100 rockets early Sunday across a wider and deeper area of northern Israel, with some landing near the city of Haifa, as Israel launched hundreds of strikes on Lebanon. The signs appear to be spiraling toward an all-out war following months of escalating tensions. The rocket barrage overnight set off air raid sirens across northern Israel, sending thousands of people scrambling into shelters. The Israeli military said that rockets had been fired towards civilian areas, pointing to a possible escalation after previous barrages had been mainly aimed at military targets. A federal judge on Friday temporarily blocked Tennessee from enforcing a law that says adults cannot help minors get an abortion without parental permission. In a 49-page ruling, U.S. District Judge Alita Trauger argued that the Republican-controlled state cannot, quote, make it a crime to communicate freely, end quote, about legal abortion options, even in a state where abortion is banned at all stages of pregnancy, except for a handful of situations. Congressional leaders announced an agreement Sunday on a short-term spending bill. It'll fund federal agencies for about 3 months, avoiding a possible partial government shutdown when the new budget year begins October 1st, and pushing final decisions until after the November election. At the urging of the most conservative members of his conference, House Speaker Mike Johnson had linked temporary funding with a mandate that would have compelled states to require proof of citizenship when people register to vote. But Johnson could not get all Republicans on board, even as the party's presidential nominee, Donald Trump, insisted on that package. Trump said Republican lawmakers should not support a stopgap measure without the voting requirement, but the bill went down to defeat anyway, with 14 Republicans opposing it. A local Ohio elections board says the county sheriff's department will not be used for election security, following a social media post by the sheriff. The sheriff's post said that people with Kamala Harris signs in their yard should have their addresses recorded so that immigrants can be sent to live with them if the Democratic vice president wins the November election. In a statement on the Portage County Democrats' Facebook page, County Board of Elections Chair Randy Kleitz said members voted 3-1 on Friday to remove the sheriff's department from providing security during in-person absentee voting. Kleitz cited public comments indicating, quote, perceived intimidation by our sheriff against certain voters, end quote, and the need to make sure every voter in Portage County feels safe casting their ballot for any candidate they choose. And that's all for this AFN News Update. Thanks for watching. You can also be sure to keep an eye on our website, afn.net, for much more news from a Christian perspective. I'm Bronson Woodruff.